What's going on, everyone? Wanted to talk about identity, right? Said I was going to go further in depth about identity, why I believe it's it's the most important thing that you can get knocked out before you're going to look to even try to be better at anything. Um, and so the reason for this is because, well, first, Dale Brisby, this guy on YouTube, cowboy guy, he's pretty cool. He gave a sermon, and it really clicked for me. And I'd gone almost 2 years with not a very good identity, come out of a relationship, and it's helped me kind of pick up the pieces and figure it out, uh, to maybe not put myself in that position again, but to not also have to be this like constantly like fucking playing texting games and like leave her undelivered for 5 minutes, like, all that shit. Like, that's not me, it's just not me. And so I'm trying to find a way to do like purple, right? A little bit of red, a little bit of blue, happy, the way that I think that we're really supposed to live. And that's my opinion, right? You might differ. But anyways, let's move forward. So Dale Brisby, he talks about the ego, right? And you actually can have low ego and high ego, right? That balloon, think of it as like a balloon. It can be filled with helium or it can be filled with argon, right? That's a heavy gas. So it'll sink or it'll be too high. But either way, both are thinking that they're right, right? This one is saying, I'm always better than everyone else, so I'm right. And this one's saying, everyone's better than me, but I'm still right, right? So do you see how you can actually have like fucking low self-esteem and still think that you're always right and have a big ass ego? And that this will play huge factors in a lesson that I'll teach on anxious attachment love bonds, to my understanding. And I've done a little bit of research too, that just kind of like backs up why those are so repetitive. And maybe this will help avoid them. Maybe I'll go back into another one. I don't know yet. I can't predict the future, but I'm willing to experience it. So anyways, if you're here or here, you're never going to grow, right? Because it's a balloon. So I can just pop it here, and whether it's full of helium, it's just going to, and whether it's full of argon, I fucking pop it, And so what that means is that if everyone's better than you, and you're just looking for stuff to affirm that, and if you can't affirm that, then it crushes you. And if you're better than everyone and you see someone that's slightly better than you, it crushes you. And so you're always just like getting overinflated and then fucking crushed. Overinflated, crushed. Overinflated, crushed. That's not healthy. That's not a good way to live. And it's going to impede your progress from anything. You know what I mean? And this is why we're so polarized as a culture, right? Like, I live in America, but I'm sure it's the same around the world. Like, we're so polarized now by race, by religion, by woman or man. Are you a Democrat or Republican? Like, are you Israel or Hamas? Like, are those your teams? And the reason is because most of the world, I think, is missing a real identity, like a real identity, man. And so they seek it in things that they like, right? I like to drink. I like to use this tobacco product. I like Grizzly Wintergreen. I like to use Sharpie pens. These are all things I like, but they aren't what I root my identity in, right? I'm an Apple products fan. I like Apple computers. I like country music, but I like rap music, But those are all parts of who I am, but they aren't who I am. I know that really doesn't word the best, but it's just important that you know that, like, imagine you've got the balloons right here, right? This is like your likes and interests and this and that. And this is also, we'll get into it. This is like the light side of you and the dark side of you, right? You need a dividing line that can go through, sort of like sort of like a compass, right? Or the poles of the earth, right? Think of it like the earth, right? You got one hemisphere and the other, I think that's incorrect, but you have one side of the earth and you got the other side of the earth, right? Then you've got this polar line that goes through the axis, right? You need to have your axis, but your axis can't be rooted in something of the earth, right? Your axis can't be rooted in your height, your fucking dick size, your what car you have. Because if it is, as soon as something is better or you're worse or this or that, your ego's going to grow. So the only solution I've found, to be honest, is to plant myself in Jesus. But it's important, and I'll get into this next, but I planted in Jesus, right? And so that way it's okay. It's giving me like, okay, well, am I measured by my truck? No. So if I lost this truck today, okay, doesn't matter. Am I measured by the amount of money I have? No. Okay. So making money, losing money doesn't matter anymore. And when you can start to do that, man, you can start to actually free your mind and free yourself to go out and find something that, hey, maybe I'm intrinsically motivated to do, right? I found, so yesterday, this is a good example. Yesterday, I'm doing my CRM follow-up, right? We've got all these customers, and so I'm calling through them, and, I did the exercise. I was like, okay, look, is my identity in the outcome of this call? No. Okay, so I just make the call, and then the call goes good, and then it motivates me to actually like, all right, I want to see if I can get another call. Never before have I felt like this. I always would try and draw from, well, XYZ TikTok sales guy is doing this and this. I have to do this. I have to do it. And it took all the joy out of the actual experience. And I found, holy shit, I actually enjoy doing this. And I was motivated to do like an extra 5. And then you sit there and like, come on, can I get 5 more? Can I get 5 more? Can I get 5 more? And in doing that, like, you actually build you build yourself, and you build real confidence. Real confidence comes from just experience, right? Like, Mike Tyson will even admit this. Like, Mike Tyson was like, Mike Tyson was not the most naturally, like, he didn't just wake up one day and be the best. He had the mentality to go and do the reps over and over and over and over and over and over again until he became the best. And so, yeah, man, like, the key takeaway is if your identity is in something that you can be compared to others by, you're never going to be happy. And to be honest, bro, there's a lot of truth to it. Like, if you're just doing this competitively with other people, you're gonna grow, but you're not gonna grow as much as you could if you're competing with yourself, because you're only gonna grow to as far as your environment will allow you, and you're not gonna grow as far as you truly believe you could be capable of. A prime case of this is like corporate America, right? If you're just competing with your higher up, you just compete until you're your higher up, and then eventually you're gonna hit a level where you're just not going to get promoted anymore. I mean, my dad worked 30 years, in corporate America, and it is what it is, man. So don't plant your identity in your work. My identity is not in my work. My identity is not in my things. My identity is not in any of those. For me, my identity is only in Jesus Christ. And the other note here is, I'm not saying this as how some people think it is, because the whole, like, it can be a slippery slope, because you might want to start trying to use religion to be better than. And I'm guilty of this. I've done this, right? Like, there was a phase in my life where I was like, oh, well, I'm living by these rules, so I'm better than. But I've also been on the other side of it too, where it's been like, I break all the rules, so I'm better than. It's not about that. It's not about being better than. It's about, so, like, there's this group of Christians, right, in the Bible, and they're like the super do-gooders, and they do all the right stuff all the time, and this and this and this and this, but not for the right motive, right? For the motive of being better than the people who weren't, better than the prostitute, or better than the drug user, or this and that. And so when they actually meet Jesus, Jesus says, I know nothing of you. I've never met you, and I don't know you. Because they were doing it to be better than. The truth is, man, you are no better than the homeless man. You are no better than the bum. You're no better than the CEO. No man is better than you. We are all but dust, okay? This is something that I say to myself a lot, like, no man is better than me, and I am no better than any man. We are all but dust. Some people might be more skilled or have better propensity towards certain things, but to be honest, man, if you're willing to get the experience and do the reps, you can go really, really far. And if you're competing with yourself to get better at it, you're going to go really, really far. Like, for instance, man, I am not intrinsically motivated to do basketball. I'm just not. So the likelihood that I'm going to sit there and do the amount of reps it takes to get really good at basketball compared to the guy that actually just truly enjoys basketball and can compete with himself to get better and do the reps, the dude who can compete with himself is going to be better than me because I'm just trying to compete to be on his level. See what I mean? And yeah, you can probably dog it out and get to the point where, like, yeah, you're on his level, but why are you doing it? If you're not enjoying it, man, you're just robbing yourself of other experiences that you might enjoy. And that's a case in point example of allowing like a weak identity. And so exercise, if you can, is to think to yourself, okay, is this my identity? Is my identity in my things? Is my identity in this, in this, in this, and this? And where is a good place for me to put my identity that is not in something of the world? And just try and do it. And also, maybe helpful quote for you guys is just remember, dust to dust. Dust to dust. We come in this world dust, we're going to leave it dust. So no one's better than you, and you're no better than anyone. And maybe a good practical thing would be, man, like, go talk to people from all sorts of walks of life. Like, that's been one of the craziest things I've always done is I just, like, I will go up to anyone in a gas station and just, hey, man, what's going on? Oh, you like this and this? Oh, that's cool, man. And, like, I've gotten so much crazy cool experience from it. I'll do a story someday of, like, I went hitchhiking. Like, that was fucking crazy. And you just experience, man, and don't get your identity all wrapped up in it. Is my identity wrapped up in my relationships? Is it this and this and this? Because it's going to lead you to outcome dependence. And I'll get further into that in tomorrow. I'll just talk about outcome dependence. But yeah, I hope you guys take care. Just want to take some time and do this. Yeah, take care.